Hey, hi guys, this is Deepti, founder of Field Clinic, and we are back with our series Back to Basics. Today, we have something very interesting and exciting for you. As a human being, we most often live in confusion, facing challenges, and I think fear of the future is something that all of us live with on a daily basis. And that is where I believe personally that the system of astrology comes into play, as it can really help us not only as a predictive tool for what it is known, but also as a guidance tool. Because the goal of astrology is to provide advice based on what the planets are indicating and not just to make predictions. So, according to me and in my experience, you can actually ask for advice on several areas of your life as well as astrological remedies based on the period that you're going through. And today we have with us Geeta, who's a Vedic and KP astrologer, and she reads and teaches astrology in her own unique way, which she calls it as spiritual astrology. Welcome, Geeta.
Yeah, good morning. Hi, Dipti. Thank you for having me here today.
Thank you for being
Good.
here because astrology as a subject is something which intrigues everybody, and people
So
are
very true.
interested, but there are a lot of myths and misconceptions around it.
Yes, yes, very true. Because nowadays, because of the social media or advancement of more accessible towards the gadgets and internets, it has given a free access to subjects which we are connected, or it gives a new direction or new awareness for us to browse into it, what is happening, the curiosity to know about the future or about the present, what is happening or what should be the progress or do's or don'ts of life.
Yeah.
uh, Astrology is a free tool which is available, which is really very good, because uh, as people are getting to know more about astrology, the awareness also, consciously, it is also spreading. The awareness is spreading all around. So it's a very good start or a very good response what we receive, and what is written there and read about it. But also, there are certain things which people get deeply, and sometimes it, because we have a mind to think, and we sometimes get confused. We have a proper guidance, then it's resolved, or else people get into that entanglement, that what, how, oh, is this this period is going to be this, or oh, I'm going to have a good period now, okay, let me relax little, and then they are surprised to what, they expected to not happening or happening. So many things involved in astrology. It's not only, it is not a general predictive, it is
Mm-hmm.
also like personal prediction also, because everyone comes with their own blueprint.
Right.
They come with the time, date, year, these everything, and time is what matters a lot. Even a second matters. Be
Okay.
with even with the twins, they are they come together or few minutes, seconds apart, but still there is like a paradigm change. It
Yeah, the
was
lives
first
are very different of
natural.
twins.
Yeah. Even the identical twins, they are not living the same, I mean, same form of life or emotion. They go through their own process. So all that detailing you can find in KP astrology, because it gives you that pointers, that okay, that's why we say time and place of birth is very important, because place also matters. The latitudes and longitudes changes the placement of that minute points, minute, like the
Yeah.
subdashas, sub period, sublord, star lord. There are few stages, like steps in astrology, KP, especially KP astrology, which gives you a more detailed prediction about your life, your journey. So
Right.
that's how it individually, every planet and every aspect of astrology matters to the general prediction. So it differs from person to person. That's it. That's why uh, we don't encourage much to general prediction, because
Okay.
then again becomes too complicated for them to believe or to get more detail into it.
When you say general prediction and personal prediction, what's the difference?
So the general prediction, they do it as per the month basis, zodiac or the star or the nakshatra. So it evolves. Western follows zodiac system, India follows nakshatra. We believe in moon placement. So like, these everything, like, and day to day they, like, predict as per the moon placement, how the moon is like, transiting from one house to the other. So that's how, like, the prediction goes. But that may not be same for individual chart, because for
Right.
some the placement could be in the first house, second house, it could be in any of the houses, if you see individually. So that changed the entire like, I mean, it's
Right.
a
So
game
what
changer.
you're saying is this general trend that has come up where you have YouTube videos and Insta reels where they say, oh, how the month of, let's say, February is going to be for the Cancerians, for the Scorpions. That is not, that does not make so much sense, as if you
Yes,
want to know something,
should
you should come to your individual chart.
individual, exactly. Because even, like, if we say Aries as a personality, you might relate, the daily prediction also. But how much it is effective, or how it is influencing, or how much change it is bringing, is it like, you they say in general prediction, like everyday prediction you can read, okay, today you will win a lottery, so you go and buy a ticket. So is it true? And I have done that as a child, like, as a teenager, I have done that, I have read that, and I have bought. I mean,
I
I
think
was
all of us
that,
have done that. I think all of us have done on
like,
Sunday newspapers. We used to get those zodiac
yes,
predictions.
yes, yes. So we, like, all done and experienced. So then it's not happening, and then we are heartbroken and, like, oh, this is not working. So we as human are, we take this, like, too personally, and we, like, judge, and we, like, withdraw also. We get convinced also, we get withdrawn also, like, from that space, or that it could be, like, a belief again. But
Right.
how you will want this belief to manifest for you, then you have to really work on your own individual chart to find the right or the best answers for it.
Right. No, I think that's a very important point that you've made, that when we look at general readings, or I think even individual readings, it becomes very important to how the astrologer frames the answers or the reading, because a
Mhm.
lot of it we can take it as our personal beliefs. Like, for
Beliefs.
example, if someone tells me that, your this period is starting and in this period things are really going to go downhill, then
Yeah.
even if there is an opportunity that I get, I may
Opportunity.
actually not go for it, thinking कि no, but I have already been told कि मेरा ये period तो खराब है.
Yes, exactly. That, and I agree on this. That was how earlier, like, in that ancient time, or like, in the previous generation and all, that was followed like little conventional way. But now, because there is more awareness, more of research, more of activities, like, like more intrigue, more detailed like, study of individual planets are coming, like, and individual charts also. When we read individual chart, when we, like, do a research, when we combine, like, all that, like, the study, the deeper study is bringing more awareness into people also. Most of the astrologers are also following different, they own, like, they are believing in the intuitions, to believing energies, to believing in the soul, like what actually they are, like, asking for or craving for, you know with time, lot of things are changing, and people are becoming more aware and more practical approach, or maybe, like, more spiritual approach or holistic approach, we can say. It's
Right.
like coming as a holistic approach towards astrology, where it is benefiting individually. It's, yeah, definitely, like, we can still follow the traditional way of remedies, because it clears that energy. Bring it as like, a positive approach to it, than bringing up like a fear based, like,
Right.
okay, this period is going to do this. But we are not saying that plan, we are always told that the planet is affecting us. Why don't we say that, like, how we approach the planet energy? How are we ready? Are we receptive to receive that? Are we in that frame, like, mind, like, is it, like, all confused, or all drained, or, like, are we really looking forward for the change? Because we are all emotional bond. With emotions, with time, every lot of things changes, and every day is not the same day for us. Every day differs, and sometimes we follow the same pattern, sometimes we can waver. And that's how we also receive the energy from the planets.
Okay,
So
that's a very interesting concept that you've said, which I don't think is very commonly understood. That instead of letting the planet rule you, we should use astrology as a tool to understand how we can tap into the
yeah,
energy of that
ex-
planet for our
ex-
benefit. Can you give us
exactly.
an example? Can you give us an example? Because that's a really interesting thought.
Yes. So now, the most common, fear is Saturn planet, related to planet Saturn. Okay. So of course there are many other also, every planet comes with goodness. Even Jupiter, when it considered to be a spiritual planet and a very good planet, positive, a godly, divinely planet, still they treat it, it's like an extreme. If you are good, then you follow the divine path. You are bad, you go downhill, you tend to become a con. There are various misconceptions, or
It's like the
the
Ram and
concept.
Ravana. It's like
Yes,
Ram and Ravana.
exactly.
Both were gurus and Mahagurus in their things, but it depends
Exactly.
on which path you take.
Path you take, exactly. And same, it goes with Saturn. When Saturn is influencing in your life, that means there's a it gives that jitter, it gives that shake, comes uncertainty, or it gives you that, oh, what is happening, I don't have control. Suddenly your mood changes, your emotion changes, you maybe you will lose certain things, lose your work, maybe now, how a recession happened and there were so many layoffs and all that,
Hmm.
uncertainty, but how it individually affected you, what is that planet trying to tell you? Not everyone is affected by planet, not in individual chart, not I mean Saturn is giving bad effects, but it's a belief that, yeah, whenever Saturn is influencing in your life, there is something bad, there is definitely something, and when it comes with a jerk. When it goes with a blow. So, but what it is trying to say, why that jitters, or why that shake, why that disturbance, why that is that tsunami in your life? That means it is reminding you to wake up, come out of that old pattern, old belief, because it's a very slow moving planet, and it says clear that path for you, create a new path, new avenue. Don't be in that old space. Even if your life is going, if there is some clutter in your place, clear that. That itself is a remedy for you, that it will give you that positive approach, because it's it changes life. It brings, Saturn is coming to bring that change in your life. It's not coming to,
Interesting.
and definitely as a human, we are always scared of the change, sudden changes. If that is planned, that is fine. But when it comes as a blow, that, right now, the recession happened and it was a blow, we were not prepared. So now the easy thing we say is, okay, maybe because this planet is influencing, Saturn is influencing, I'm going through that phase. Then what? Then, because it's a survival state, you go search for the new job, and you might be feeling, because of recession, you might be feeling difficult to find a new job and all that. But with time, eventually you will have a job. But what is the learning? What did the Saturn say?
Hmm.
Be prepared for these things in life. You are not going to listen, or you're not going to change from. So people were saying, some, Google May, and all that, they were working for 15 years or 20 years.
Yeah.
So they needed a change. Maybe they became so comfortable, maybe they were lot more worth of to be a CEO or something more higher, or maybe bringing, establishing their own firm or something like that, to be a partner, or who knows what their worth
Right.
is. So that was the blow for them. So if we see that as a positive change, then it's a positive change. If we take it as a fear base, then it will definitely give you that jerks. Then we blame, planet, this may be happening, that may be happening. And as a human, we need a reason to blame on, or to, put our just release a burden, or
I know
as
it is easy for us to get into victim mode. But I think
Exactly.
what I understand from what you said, and this is something I have been reading somewhere else also, that the best way to utilize astrology as a tool in your life is to get regular readings done where it's not so much about prediction, but it is about understanding what's coming up in your life
Coming
in
up
the next, let's say, 6 months to 1 year.
1 year.
Like you
Yeah.
said, like if I get my reading done and you say, okay, in the next 3 months, your Saturn is becoming stronger and this is what the
Yes.
result will be, that gives
Yes.
me that much time to prepare for it. Whether it is
Prepare.
about, okay, that let me get my savings in place, let me get my investments in
Yes.
place, let me make my
Exactly.
lifestyle accordingly, so that
Yes.
when that thing happens, it doesn't come as a jhatka ek to, and it doesn't, I'm
Yes.
prepared for it. I
Prepared.
think
Yes.
that is something that is, I'm reading more and more about it, that that is how astrology has to be used, and not about when will I get my next job, when will I
Yes.
get married, when will the
Yes.
love of my life come. Not
Yeah.
those kind of questions, but how do I get prepared for marriage?
Marriage. Yes.
What is the kind of person I'll be more compatible with?
Compatible.
So I think
Exactly.
the
That
questions also
compatibility
have to change. The questions
change.
from which
Yeah.
we approach
Approach.
astrology
Yes.
also has to change.
Yes, exactly. Definitely, it has to, because from what we have been seeing or reading or experiencing ourselves also in our daily life is, you need to be prepared emotionally also, emotionally, physically, mentally, everything needs to be like, and energetically also. So are we ready? Are we ready to face, or are we ready to face the challenges or uncertain, uncertainty in lives? Or fruits, and even the positive approach, the success also. Sometimes when success happens suddenly, the person is they don't know how to
How to
handle.
deal? Right.
Yes. So that also, there are so many things which could be eased out if you get your reading done in a very holistic way.
No,
So
I
I
totally agree. So 2 years back, I'd gone for this 10-day residential course. So it was very
Mhm.
interesting based on what you said. I used tarot as a tool at that time. But before going, I had actually got a reading done where I said, what is the purpose of me going on this course and what am I going to learn out of it?
Learn.
And what came out in the reading was something very different from what I was expecting. But how that helped me is when I was in that retreat for 10 days, it helped me understand from the point of view in which the reading had pointed out. And that retreat became so much more useful for me.
Useful. Exactly. It happens. So
Yeah.
maybe sometimes we must be thinking okay, I need a change for a promotion or for financial benefits. But maybe that change was for your own worth, or for you to be in that a position where you can make that decision for yourself, or for
Right.
it could be a completely different experience from what we might think about. So there was a client who was earlier he was stuck in some 3 years back, stuck in some company where there was slow movement, and it was rough, up and down roller coaster. Then he wanted a change, so okay, he got the change. Then again he went into that company, was like he didn't even have a time to breathe. He was focused on the salary growth and all that, but it came with that thing that he was slogging like 12 hours, and it was work from home, so then complete time given online. Then what happened again? Then suddenly he got a waking call. Then I didn't know what is happening. I can't be like this. So again, then I asked, it's only been a year and you want you want to go for a change? And that person was so no, I want little slow down in my life. I want to learn, I want to be there, but also I can't deal this pressure. I'm able to handle, but so much. I mean, no, I think right now I need to change. So then the person went in a different company where there is nil, almost nil of work. Again, there the person is not satisfied. Now what to do? What to do with my life? I don't have work now. So now you have what you manifested. You have salary increase, you have a comfort space, you are the boss there, and what else do you want? So now there is nothing new or nothing to learn. Okay, so maybe this company will not give you any learning. Maybe you go join some course where you can channel this energy and learn a new, like, I mean, area or your language where, like,
Right.
it will be beneficial for your future. So then, like, oh, okay, maybe, yeah, this is what I need to understand, that I need to take that space out, time out to learn a new, language where that will, like, upscale myself to get
Right.
a better space to be. So, like, human mind is not satisfied in one space. They
True.
are constantly looking for answers and change, and yeah, certain people have stability, they are fine, they are relaxed. You put them in any sort of
Mm.
situation, condition, they're all fine. But some people are not satisfied. So what needs to be done? You need to think, stop, think about yourself. Yeah, planets are giving you success, but what, how, which form you want? There are so many questions to be asked and answered for yourself.
So
So
tell me something, Geeta. You do, I know that, and you've done it for quite a few of our clients, something known as astrological healing.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So what does that involve and how does that benefit someone?
Yeah. So when, as we said, like, when we are going through certain dasha period or planetary transition, like Saturn, be it Saturn, Jupiter, or any planet like Rahu, Ketu, those are, you know, which comes with some change, like, and the people might be like, people might be finding it difficult to handle with their own strength. So that then comes the planetary healing. Astrology healing is purely based on planetary, individual, what period they are going through. So we take that planet, we connect to that planet, and we ensure the person also connect to the planet's energy. And
Okay.
through that healing, that that form of energetic transformation, the person will know, understand about what that period is asking them to do. It may not, see, what I mean, as an example, they might be concerned about their work, but that may not be the concern. What that planet might be saying is something different. Maybe it might be saying focus on yourself, or your partnership, or your companionship, or, like, something else, family, finance, or be it anything, travel, or it could be anything that might be, like, requiring for that person to do. And with that one shift or change, that will help that person to transform or find peace in that, in that space, in that moment of time.
So basically, we are helping the person build a better relationship with that planet.
Planet, exactly, because that, we don't know how to connect with the planets. The planets are already connected in our all seven chakras, in our minor chakra. All the planets are connected in us. It's within us. So Lord Krishna also, like, showed that the universe is within us. So
Right.
it's like, it's there. But how we channel, how we receive, is very important. Sometimes it happens easily for people, like, sometimes people say, oh, for them, like, it is so easy, like, it's like a fluid, like, they just go, there's nothing, they don't do puja, they don't do anything, there's nothing that they need to think about. Yeah, because again, it's their own life journey experience. The soul decided to be that way. Maybe, like, the soul chose that way. So then again, the question is, why I didn't choose that way of life? So there is, like, different story to it, how your past life evolved, how your experiences from lifetimes to this life, it all matters. So that way we, like, connect you to those planets, which give you that solution for you to evolve in this journey.
Right. That actually, you have raised a very important point that takes me to my next question. In an astrological reading, does it also reflect our karma and our ancestral influences?
Yes, it does. It definitely does that. So every chart, every individual person comes with their own blueprint. So as we are aware about that, and with that, we come with certain karmic resolution. We are connected to our ancestors. It could be the present, like, coming from the same lineage today where we are, from the same that lineage, or to some other different lineage. So sometimes what happens, we connect unknowingly, maybe through acquaintances, or just randomly we meet someone and we get connected so deeply with the family, or like family bonding happens, or family friends, what we say, why we are connected. That means there is something from the past that is saying that we were connected somewhere in the past, and today maybe there is something still, to be balanced from that family to this family. and
Okay.
and that balance, maybe they are just there doing nothing, also matters to, again, the karma is different to the ancestral thing is different. So we could be the same ancestor coming from, we could be our own great grandfather to grandmother to anyone we could be, because of the experiences. So we choose that experience. We really want to come back in this space again, to be born in the same family, to have the different sort of experience, definitely. So we take that shape, but again, the soul is not the same. You So if they say you are soul of a grandfather or great grandfather, you're not this. Maybe you are the same soul who evolved as that grandfather to what we are today. They are not different souls. You can't say okay, my grandfather was completely different person. Yeah, person physically it was different, but the soul has taken birth for the experience. So the person might not remember you as your as their grandkids, but the soul understand that relation.
Right. This is very interesting. So what you're saying is that when you open an astrological chart of a person, it is like a storybook.
Yes, yes,
It's
it's a
nothing but a
storybook.
storybook where you kind of start reading that these are the chapters. Currently, you are in this chapter. This is
Yes,
what are your past
exactly.
chapters, and these are
Yes,
the possibilities of your future chapters.
possible
But again, you do have a choice if you want
choice.
to change a
There are
particular.
choices. There are lot of choices. So I mean, you need to be very careful. That's where our emotions comes, and that's
Mhm.
where also I say astrology comes to your rescue when you have that confusion. And when you haven't that, you are going through that confusion, don't judge or don't stick to that belief that okay, this is what it is. Don't be in that space. And if you are little open, people are little, certain people are very rigid, sticking to their own ground, saying no, this is my destiny, this is what it is. I tried so many ways, so many remedies, done this, that, everything, remedy from this religion, that religion, all the religions also, they have done everything, and they said no. And healing also, they come and say, oh, I've done so many healings, past life doesn't work for me. So they come and are so stuck to that belief that nothing will work for me. So it's for them, if they are coming, they have approached this reading, then you need to be little flexible to understand. Okay, you might have done the remedy, or you might have worked on your inner child. Maybe that inner child needed some more acknowledgement. Maybe that inner child might have gone through the same emotion in a different form of experiences. So
Right.
if you acknowledge, you will go. I mean, because and that's where Saturn tells you that story. Saturn has a lot of past stories to tell about. Abundance, it is that a kitty, if you open one, and all the
Ah,
karmic stories also. So Saturn says all the stories. It's like a huge book coming out, pages, pages, pages. And people sometimes say, I'm doing from 5 years, 3 years, 1 year healing, like throughout, but nothing is coming up. Nothing has conspired for me. Nothing is going in my favor and all that. But maybe you're missing something. Maybe change a perspective. See through what Saturn is trying to say. It is there. It's when it comes with long term plan, no shortcuts for it. So it will stay and ensure that you change, you change, you change. like, it hits you, bangs you, like, yeah, sometimes for people it is like all good because they're more aware what we say, or they have dealt with the emotion, they know, they understand. With experiences, maybe they became so strong that they're able to move freely. So it's all about emotions, how, like, you acknowledge, how you acknowledge your past, how you deal with the authority, and Saturn also talks about authority. So it's all about, like, and somewhere, like, from day one of our existence, we see as parent as an authority, like, someone huge, like, as an authority, that all that, like, mind has like perceived, and, like, we like decide, okay, this is what I'm supposed to do, this is what, like, maybe I'm, like, doing is right or wrong. So everything is being planned, decided, and done. So
Right.
that's how, like, that's where, like, astrology works, gives you answers if you are lost, or if you're, like, not able to handle your emotions. Definitely see in a different way than being in that conventional way of understanding astrology. It's not always about remedies. Yeah,
Hmm.
remedies, end of the day, it's your choice to take what sort of remedy you want to go, like, a holistic approach, or you want to be in that traditional way also helps. It's not like, it doesn't help. It clears your aura, it clears your energy, it brings that calmness when you're doing a home, you're chanting mantra, it gives you that. But do it 108 times chanting. Why they say, like, you chant the shloka, why they are saying, or chant to this planet. So you're evoking that
Hmm.
energy, you're receiving that planet energy in yourself. But believe what you're doing. Just absorb everything and it will bring change. But also, you need to understand what is influencing, which planet is influencing. Again, don't go for the general. Okay, like, people come, like, Mercury, every 3 months, 3.5 months, people come, oh, it's retro. Mercury is in retro. Now it's screwed. Our communication, our skills are all screwed. So don't give a general. Is your chart saying that you have a retro Mercury? Then definitely you need to take that call. You need to be aware about it. But if it's not, then why you are panicking about? When
I
it
think
is
this
so
is
beautifully in your chart, then why you are panicking?
I think this is also because of all these YouTube videos and Insta reels where there are these people just to get likes and engagements. It's all this. The Earth is going through a Mercury retrograde. There are 4 planets going in retrograde, and then
Retro,
without
yes,
really understanding, a lot of people panic
panic,
and
yes,
think that it's a general for everything.
yes.
But I also like very interestingly what you said. So I'll tell a personal example. Like through this is a few years back where someone for a particular challenge that someone close to me was having, and when they got a reading done, they were asked to do a particular remedy.
Hmm, hmm,
And when they did that remedy, the reason I'm giving this example is that remedies doesn't mean that your things get resolved. But what happened to that person after they did the remedy was that they met another person who was able to help them
help.
to
Hmm.
get out of that challenge. So it took them a good 6 to 8 months more, and they
Yes,
had to
it
work
did.
with that person. But after that remedy was done, they met this person on social media somewhere, which they hadn't gotten. They were looking for such kind of a profile of a person for the last so many months. They never got. But after the remedy, such a person came in their life, and that person helped them to get over that challenge over the next 6 to 8 months. So remedies doesn't mean that remedy is done and your challenge is gone
Yeah,
away, but it opens up
exactly.
pathways, it
Yeah,
opens
it
up
opens.
areas for you. So it's
Yes.
also for you to take that action, identify that this person has come, this
Action.
opportunity has come, and
Yes.
take that action and work on it.
Yes, taking action and working on it is very important. You can't just sit down and say, I'm done. I've done this. Now universe has to. And it's easy to blame God. So God doesn't want us to do. I mean, maybe, Bhagwan nahi chahte hain. Okay, Bhagwan ne aisa likha hai. No, it's you who have written, your script.
There
So,
is
and
this famous story, right? There's a flood, and a person is standing on the top of his hut, and a boatman comes and he says, no, I pray to God, my Krishna will come to help me. The boatman goes, the second boat comes, the third boat comes. He still keeps waiting for Krishna till he gets drowned. And then post death, when he asked Krishna, Krishna said, who do you think those boatmen were?
exactly, exactly. So true. So these stories are not just created to just it's not a storytelling. It's also coming from a experience, reality.
Yes. So you have to identify that boatman when the boatman comes in your life. Because I think where we all get stuck is we have a particular form in our mind that Krishna should look in this way, or whichever power you believe in, that the help should come in ABC. So
Yes,
if the help
exactly.
comes in DEF, we tend to ignore it.
Yes,
I
exactly.
think that's the key point.
Yes, yes. And also, like, one thing you mentioned about karma. It's a very important, like, again, it's a debatable. So, I may not justify that answer, but like, karma is a very sensitive thing, like, to talk about. It's not good or bad also. You can't say, oh, karma. No, everyone has their own set of karma. It could be like, a karma coming out of sin, out of guilt, out of blame, out of anything. How you see that karma as. And when someone is there standing in front of you saying, like, I need this help, or just believe me or trust me, that also could be a form of exchange of karma that maybe you did not trust earlier, but now, like, it is giving you an opportunity to trust. So maybe don't worry about the consequences. You might know, okay, if I trust, the person will do the same again. That means it is saying, like, how to trust, what not to trust also. It is not just blindly following that path. Someone coming, like, and we should not see, like, okay, I'm not going to donate to the beggar today, I'm not going to give the money, which, like, they only want money today. Nowadays, like, the only transaction is money transaction. You give them food, you give them shelter, you give them clothing, they're not ready for it. But if you give pure money transaction, they are fine with it. And today, if you feel, oh, that person I couldn't give or I did not give, you hold, oh, it could turn on the form of karma. No, that karma is not that, like, it's not, it will not create that. Okay, then, like, one day, like, you are not having enough money, and you think, like, oh, that day I didn't help that person, and today I'm going through that. Don't, that's not the reason. Don't get into that guilt or being given. You search for that person or someone you give. Mm, karma doesn't talk material things or money. Like, it doesn't believe in transaction of money. It believes in transaction of kindness, humanity. So maybe, like, if you're, like, your approach could be like, buying a plate of food, that would be a karma balancing. So it's like, it's a very huge topic to talk about. Karma
Yeah,
is
I
like,
think that's for another video
yes, it's
because
like
karma has many
completely
different
different.
perspectives to it.
Exactly, exactly. So some may believe, some may find, like, okay with my answer, not okay. Like, there could be, like, so many, they might be coming with their own experiences also.
Yeah.
So I can talk about those experiences, why, how, like, why. But it's not always transactional. Karma is not always, like, transactional.
Right. No, that
So
makes sense. But I think for me, the two most interesting things about astrology that came out in today's talk was one, that it is like a story. The reading is like your storybook. It's your life storybook. And the
yes,
second is that we can actually, which I never, it is a new different perspective for me, that we can actually look at building a relationship with our planets.
planets,
They are
exactly.
not something which are far away, something to be dreaded about, something to be feared about. But I
About.
think we should all look at how can we become friends with them,
Hmm. Yes,
and how we can help each
re-
other to,
receive,
yeah,
accept that, yeah, we are living with it.
yeah,
So that will help, that will change, like, it will completely. And, like, it also could mean, like, sometimes when a twin is born, one twin might be, like, going through a very rough time, or maybe some health conditions, or they could even it could also congenital twins, or, like, identical twins. But they again, like, their journey, their script is different from what it is. It matters, like, fraction second also matters. There could be some momentary moment in the planet, the subplanet, where we are not aware, and the reason for them to come with that conjoined or identical or the twin itself is saying that twin, be twin, triplet, or there are multiple nowadays. So
Right.
why they're coming with that group, why with that team or with that bond or connect, is that there could be some fear bond from that past, past life. It could be that that the other is helping them to evolve or come, go through that process of being in the womb to coming out. And sometimes the twins are so close, sometimes they differ, sometimes there are so many experiences about twins. Not that every twin is living a same
Right.
identical life. Even the future features, even in identical, certain things still differs. So that, and it could be even the education is happening same, both are engineers or both are doctors or both are going into the same profession, partners differ. So certain houses do not are not the same. Somewhere it's a different journey again. And what the person, the twin might be experiencing from, or emotion they are experiencing from the parent could be different for the other twin.
Right.
So how they are perceiving the emotions also matters, because that is coming from their past life experience, because the memory is there reminding, telling them the story that okay, this emotion is good, I can take, I can reject, all that. It's happening, our mind is running every day.
No, and then
Even
every choices that they make in this life is also changing their stories onto different paths.
exactly, they are, definitely they are. So time, place, that's the reason we say time is very important. Time is very important, and it matters. When we
So
see
what
very
happens when people come to you for a chart reading and they do not know the exact time
time,
of
yeah,
birth?
yeah. So we basically see, I don't I avoid, that is not a good thing. But if they are aware that they were born in morning, some say they say okay, it
Hmm.
was early morning or late afternoon, or they have that. So then
Hmm.
I just ask them to just relax, meditate, call their ancestors or the divine they believe in, and then just ask them for the time, and whatever comes to their thought, the
Okay.
number is always given. And also the time when we are making the chart, or when I'm talking, right now I'm talking to you, it's 12:53. So that time also I will take that time also into consideration, because the transitional, the period right now, we can see certain planets. What is the topic today? We are communicating, we are connected. How we are connected today? Mercury, Rahu, because communication, internet, Rahu is involved, Mercury is involved. So we are talking on these bases, and what we are
Mhm.
generally talking about things, everything, every planet. So everything, we have to consider. So if that matches, it's a process. You need little
Right.
time to understand, and the journey. When I start talking to the person, I will know, okay, is this matching to what they are saying, what the story is saying? Then we correct the time. So
Okay.
it becomes a little easy once we start talking to the person. It's not only guessing the number, the time, but also
Right.
about the story, about the journey, and
Right.
the transit, the planet involved.
Ah, very,
So
very
that's how.
interesting. Very
Yes,
interesting. So
yes,
thank you
yes.
so much, Geeta, because I think today you've really helped us understand astrology from a very different point of view. At least for me, it was very exciting. Like I said, the most important thing for me is looking at how I can now build a relationship with the
Relationship.
planets, depending on
Yes,
which planet is more important or which is it that is playing a more important role in my reading right now. So to all of you listening there, if this is something that has excited you, interested you, Geeta is available for astrological reading. She also teaches. So if you
Yes,
want
I do
to
teach.
learn astrology, she's here for teaching also. Do connect with us. Our connect points are there in the comment section down. If you have any specific questions, write to us and we will try and answer those questions back to you. Thank you so much for listening in, and thank you, Geeta, for this
Thank
very
you.
interesting.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you, Dipti. Good
Thank
day.
you so much.
God bless. Take care.